Hi, I'm Shane Watson. I'm a coach with Fort Elm, and I'm here to talk a little bit about the growth cycle. With NCD, when we do the church survey, that by itself is not going to result in any changes or growth in your place. Just like going to the doctor by itself doesn't make you healthier. We have to react to what we've seen. And when we follow the growth cycle, we can move through the steps that are necessary to realize the growth that we're aiming for in partnership with God. One of the tendencies that churches sometimes have is to jump from test to do. So one of the disciplines of the growth cycle is to make sure that we're following all the steps in order so that we can not miss the most important aspects of the growth cycle. Sometimes churches like to go from test directly to do, but if we don't correctly discern the barriers to growth and appropriately put a plan in place to address them, jumping from test to do is not going to yield the growth that we're seeking. So let's talk about each of the six phases in the growth cycle, starting with the test phase. What we're really looking for when we come out of the test phase is a real tangible picture of our current health. During the test phase, we want to develop a very tangible picture of church health so that we have all the information that we need in order to later identify barriers to growth. In the understand phase, we're going to take all the information that we gathered up during the test phase and spend some time understanding where we're at. This phase often gets overlooked, but it's really important to soak in this phase, spend some time understanding the information that's been gathered up so that we can get a clear picture of what the barriers are that we need to remove in order to allow God's all by itself growth to happen. Now let's talk about the plan phase. In the understand phase, we identified all the barriers that we need to remove in order to allow God's all by itself growth to happen. In the plan phase, we want to put together the actions that are going to be necessary in order to remove those barriers. A picture of where we're going is not enough. We need to have a plan for how we're going to get there. So you can think about this in terms of a roadmap. We've got a start and an end point. We've got a route that describes some of the terrain that we'll encounter along the way. We have some sense of where the journey might be a little bit easier, where it might be a little more challenging so that we can prepare for that. Where are the roads straight and where do we have to cross water? And along the way, where are we going to stop and take a break? Where are we going to replenish ourselves? Where are the rest stops along the way on this journey? That's our roadmap. So in summary, we can think about the plan phase as where we define the approach to removing the barriers that have been identified. And we need to have a clear picture that describes where we're going. How is where we're headed different from where we are now? What can we add? What will be changed? What can we take away? What will be tweaked or strengthened? What sustains and builds on the picture that we've already got? What do we need to leave behind so that we can begin the journey? The key outcome from the planning phase should be an actionable plan that addresses the health priorities, the barriers that we need to remove. Now let's talk about the do, experience, and perceive phases, and what's the difference between them. The purpose of the do phase is to remove the barriers by applying the actions that were developed during the plan phase. The purpose of the experience phase is to experience more and more increasing and abundant life with God as a result of applying the actions. In the perceive phase, we want to reflect on the ways that we've experienced more abundant life and how that is compared with what we thought life would be like with barriers removed, and anticipate what the results might be like the next time we complete the church survey.